Okay, with the recent release of Avengers Endgame, we have the completion of the Infinity Saga from Iron Man to Avengers Endgame. The big bad over the last 11 years, well, not really 11, like 7, I guess, has been Thanos. He's been the guy lurking in the shadows all this time, pulling the strings on one thing or another, and then he finally came into the sunlight in Avengers Infinity War and was thusly defeated in Endgame. He's no more, right? But the MCU isn't done, you know? They're still moving forward. We've still got sequels to Spider-Man, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, all types of stuff coming out in the near future. So we're gonna need a new big bad, right? So here are 8 suggestions that I have for the new big bad. They're not in any particular order, but number 1 is the guy that I want most. So from the future that has had a pretty huge beef with Captain America for one reason or another because of a decision that he makes in the future that changes the way that things turn out, and he doesn't like that, so he comes to like enforce Cap to do something else, but he ends up just being a huge Marvel villain in general. He's got a huge ship, a big old sword. He's like, I don't know too much about him to like have any high expectations for him if they do bring him onto the screen, but I would like to see it regardless. I'm sure in the right hands he could be very formidable, very interesting, but we'll just have to see what Marvel decides to do moving forward. Number 7 is obviously Galactus. I mean, who doesn't want a planet-consuming Titan just floating around space, sending his heralds out? And with Galactus could come heralds, Terrax the Tamer, Firelord, Silver Surfer, stuff like that. They could all be in different movies, or they could all be in the same movie. They could be in like Guardians of the Galaxy, and then they set up Galactus for the next, like the new Avengers movie or whatever. That would be cool. New Avengers, yeah, Secret Avengers, Dark Avengers. Let me know what you want to see. Point is, Galactus could be a very good, well-rounded, formidable villain for an entire phase. Maybe 2 phases. Don't stretch it out to 3 phases, though. That's not going to work. Moving on. Molecule Man. I know he sounds silly, but Molecule Man is probably one of the most dangerous villains in Marvel Comics. His wand can manipulate anything, really, on the molecular level. The first time he met the Avengers, he disintegrated Captain America's shield, turned Iron Man's armor to soup, basically. And I think he made Mjolnir disappear. I can't remember exactly. But with power like that, he's pretty dangerous. He can do just about anything, and he would be very difficult to stop. Now, how would the good guys defeat him? I don't have any clue about that. But maybe you do. Maybe you guys out there know a little bit more about Molecule Man than I do, which I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be embarrassed about. Moving on. Dormammu. I know, he was already introduced in Doctor Strange, but the thing is, he's like the ruler of the Dark Dimension. And Doctor Strange no longer has the Time Stone, so he would not be able to defeat Dormammu the same way that he did initially. And Dormammu might know that the Sorcerer Supreme no longer possesses the Time Stone, and he's like, okay, I can strike now, and there's nothing much he can do to me. He's lurking out there, just like Thanos was, waiting for his time in the sun. So all we have to do is just bring him to the forefront, make him the bad guy this time. You know, he could be very interesting if we saw his whole body, especially if they keep the flaming head thing, because I love that. I know it's Ghost Rider-ish, or Ghost Rider-esque, but the thing is Dormammu's like 10 feet tall. So, unless Ghost Rider can get that tall, and I just don't know about that, then I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be too difficult for young audiences to discern a skull from just a red head that's on fire, and a very large man that's doing magic. Number, what is that? 4, I think? I lost count. Number 4 is Annihilus. He is the king of the negative zone in the comics. He has a huge army of things, which is perfect for an Avengers movie, because an Avengers movie cannot go down without a huge army of drones to fight, as I talked about a long, long time ago. It's not necessarily a bad thing, you know. It's just a thing. It's easier to write, keep the chaos going, keep all the Avengers busy. That's basically the reason that they do it. Point is, though, he's not too developed as a character from what I know, but in the right hands, again, he could be done very well, like Thanos was. Thanos in Infinity War was more an adaptation from the Infinity comic, not Infinity War or Gauntlet, Infinity. So I think all it takes is somebody that cares enough to turn him into something interesting. Maybe say that the snap, when it rippled across reality, did something to the negative zone and it breached a hole between this Earth and that Earth or whatever. There you go. The problem solves itself. Number 3, Sentry or Hyperion. I don't really care too much one way or the other. They're both Marvel Superman. And basically it would just be like, it'd be a nice dig at DC. You know, like, oh, you didn't want to do the evil Superman subplot? We will. So you just have a guy with all these powers. But with Sentry, you could also have Void, who is basically his alter ego. Kind of like how in Mortal Kombat Deception, Noob and Smoke were one person. So it's like Noob, Saibot, and Smoke in the same body. Don't worry about it. I like Sentry. In the comics, he ripped Carnage in half, and his white Carnage now has mechanical legs. Number 2, the Beyonder. The thing about the Beyonder, though, is he's not really evil, but he is God-level powerful. Like, I'm not talking, like, demigod-level powerful. I mean, like, Old Testament God-level powerful. He can manipulate the universe to its very fibers if he chose to do so. Stronger than Adam Warlock, that's for sure. The thing that makes him dangerous is his curiosity. Because I don't know if you're familiar with the Secret Wars comic from the 1990s, or was it late 80s? Either late 80s or early 90s. I don't feel like doing research. He created a planet called Battle World, and he took a bunch of heroes, took a bunch of villains, put them there, made them fight because he wanted to see what would happen. That's where Peter Parker came in contact with a symbiote, and that's where Venom and Carnage and Riot and Lasher and Phage and Excess and Shriek came from. Gosh, I'm having a hard time with these names. But yeah, I think a Secret Wars movie would be pretty cool if Beyonder was the bad guy in that movie. But since then, he's done a lot of other stuff too, like turning the Empire State Building into gold, and then it therefore collapsed because gold is very heavy. Point is, though, I like the Beyonder, and I'd like to see him on screen. But here we go with the number 1, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you people know exactly who I'm about to say. Dr. Doom. Come on. You knew it. If you know me, you knew it. If you've seen my video that completely details why Dr. Doom is the greatest villain in all of Marvel history, then you knew he was coming. The thing that makes me so happy about Marvel owning all the X-Men and Fantastic Four characters now is they don't even have to worry about the mutants or the Fantastic Four, really. They can just put Dr. Doom in it. It's like, oh, well, where was he during this stuff? He didn't know. He was in that Viri. He doesn't have access to this information until it's already gone by. But after seeing that half the world got wiped out of existence and brought back 5 years later, he's like, hey, you know what? The Avengers aren't exactly getting it done. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be infamous Iron Man, and I'm going to take over the team because they need correction and they need help badly. I maybe not jump straight into infamous Iron Man. That would be difficult for young audiences to understand what's going on and people that don't read modern Marvel comics. But I loved the infamous Iron Man run when it was going on. I love Dr. Doom as a character. Think of Dr. Doom as the perfect blend between Doctor Strange and Iron Man, because he's just as good as with magic as Doctor Strange is, and he's just as good an engineer as Iron Man is, probably even better, because he is known to have shrunken down asteroids in his gloves so he can shoot them out and they'll expand to normal size and take out whoever he's aiming at. And also he has a portal to the negative zone in his suit. There's also something in the suit that alerts him to the X gene, which is what makes X-Men X-Men. Mutants, rather. And that way, he can never be ambushed by Wolverine and his pals. So, I think Dr. Doom's pretty damn cool, and I would love to see him in the future. Hopefully, not too far in the future. I don't want to wait 11 more years. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what Marvel chooses to do. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.